Discuss the salient characteristics of the morphology of Indian cities. Explain the morphology of Indian cities in the background of existing morphological models. Urban morphology deals with the physical layout and internal functional structure of an urban area. Here, physical layout means urban structure and may be termed as internal geography of the city. Similarly, functional morphology may be interchanged with urban land use. Various theories have been advanced by urban geographers to analyze the morphology of urban centers as follows. Concentric zone theory. The concentric zone theory of urban land use was first proposed in 1923 by A.W. Burgess, an urban sociologist, in an attempt to explain the pattern of social areas within the city of Chicago. Burgess' model is based on the idea of the growth of a city takes place outward from its central area to form a series of concentric zones. The sector theory was proposed by H. White in 1939. Sector theory pattern of urban land use is conditioned by the arrangement of routes radiating out from the city center and creating a sectoral pattern of land and rental values, which in turn influence the urban land use pattern. Third is the multiple nuclei theory. In 1945, a less rigid model capable of application to a variety of urban patterns was proposed by C.D. Harris and E.L. Ullman. It was suggested that land use pattern in most large cities developed around a number of discrete centers of nuclei rather than single center. Indian towns, on the basis of their morphological characteristics, can be classified into two broad categories. Indigenous, these have fully Indian characteristics. Such towns are mainly distributed in the areas of northern plain, desert borderland and Deccan Peninsula, and impacts of Southwest Asian culture in the form of more narrow winding streets. European types. These include cantonments, civil lines, railway colonies, etc. built during the British rule. The general morphology of the Indian cities was initially concentric in nature and was mostly affected by the physical characteristics of the site. During the British period, with the development of new mohallas, marketplaces, and thrab, it became sectoral in certain port and capital new cities. It is multiple nuclei depicting the third stage of urban morphology development. The study of general functional structure and urban land use of Indian cities shows that there is an absence of clear separation between residential and other areas. Internal structure of Indian cities. The post-independence period in the post-independence period in India saw rapid growth of large-sized towns. The growth was characterized by the following features: growth of residential colonies around radial railroad arteries, absorption of throws in by towns, growth of industries in the intervening spaces, and conversion of old bungalows built during the colonial period into government offices and official residence. Planned development of new residential colonies, industrial estates, and satellite towns. Growth of slums near city centers in areas which are generally low-lying, prone to flooding. These are also used as workplaces. Thus, the Indian city is an amalgam of structures of various periods and of a variety of land uses. Old core of Indian cities. This refers to an old fortress or a place around which a town generally grows. In India, These are found to have these following features. There is an intricate maze of lanes, and by lanes, often ending in dead ends. The traffic in the core is generally one way. The buildings are mostly old ones with particular style of architecture, but generally having country yard, courtyard, and balconies. Such as some of these old buildings have been demolished to raise tall buildings. The old core is fragmented on caste and community lines. The old core generally show lack of lines. Some of the core have wholesale activities. Such core are characterized by traffic jams and congestion. The old cores also developed restaurants and hotels to accommodate the visiting businessmen. So, cantonments and railway colonies. These features also came up during the colonial period and have well-planned rectangular street pattern as a large open space in the form of race courts, and parade grounds, and various services such as schools, colleges, hospitals, post office, etc. are available. In most cases, the cantonments gave a separate identity consequence of rail network. Another important stage in process of urbanization in India and was the introduction of railway lines. As a consequence of this, the road from station to the city center gained importance. Shops and hotels came up along this road around the suburban railway station. Housing cluster came up, which were occupied mostly by migrants from outside. In intervening spaces, industries, residential clusters, slums came up. Most recent development, the rapid growth of suburban road transport, has been more extensive phenomena than rail lines. These suitable places for suburban growth covered an area of around 50 km from the city center. To reduce encouraged dispersal to suburbs by providing basic facilities. Indian cities and towns can be broadly classified as follows: administrative towns and cities. Towns supporting administrative headquarters of higher order such as Chandigarh, New Delhi, Bhopal, Shillong, etc. Industrial towns. Industrial constitute prime motive force of these cities such as Mumbai, Salem, Coimbatore, and Modinagar, and Jamshedpur, Hooghly, Bhilai, etc. Transport cities. They may be ports. They may be ports primarily engaged in export and import such as Kandla, Kochi, Kozhikode, and Mughalsarai, and Itarasi, etc. And commercial towns and cities specializing in trade and commerce are kept in this, like Kolkata and Saharanpur. Mining towns, Raniganj, Jhoria, Digbai, Singrauli, etc. Cantonment towns, Ambala, Jalandhar, Mao, Babina, Meerut, etc. Educational towns, Roorkee, Varanasi, Aligarh, Pilani, etc. Religious and cultural towns, Varanasi, Madurai, Tripura, etc. Tourist towns, Nainital, Mussoorie, Simla, Panchmari, Mount Abu, etc. Even specialist cities, as they grow in the metropolises become multinational, wherein industry, business, administration, transport, etc. Within each medium or large city, there are specific areas specializing in certain functions or activities. like business, industrial, and administrative, institutional, transport, residential, and etc. Business or is often the core and the cities and the center of the city. So thank you.